Welcome to our channel Throwlight. In our previous video, we have seen frequently asked JavaScript interview questions. Now in this video, let's learn some more interview questions in JavaScript. What is nan property in JavaScript? Nan property represents not a number value. It indicates a value which is not a legal number. Type of a nan will return a number. To check if a value is not a number, we use isNan function. IsNan function converts the given value to a number type and then equates to not a number. Let's understand this with examples. IsNan hello. This hello is a string. It's not a number. So it will return true. IsNan 345. This 345 is a number. So it will return false. IsNan true. This will return false. Since true converted to a number type, it results as 1. So 1 is a number, that's why it will return false. IsNan undefined. Undefined is not a number, so it will return true. Explain closures in JavaScript. Closures is an ability of a function to remember the variables and functions that are declared in its outer scope. Let's understand closures with an example. If you see the code here, the function randomFunc gets executed and returns a function when we assign it to a variable. This variable initial closure. The return function is then executed when we invoke initial closure. It will give the output as person is awesome. And this is possible because of a closure. When the function randomFunc runs, it sees that the returning function is using the variable object1 inside it. Therefore, randomFunc, instead of destroying the value of the object1 after execution, saves the value in the memory for further reference. This is the reason why the returning function is able to use the variable declared in the outer scope, even after the function is already executed. The ability of a function to store a variable for further reference even after it is executed, we call it as a closure. What are callbacks? A callback is a function that will be executed after another function gets executed. In JavaScript, functions are treated as first-class citizens. They can be used as an argument of another function, can be returned by another function, and can be used as a property of an object. Functions that are used as an argument to another function are called as callback functions. Let's understand this with an example. In this code, we are performing mathematical operations on the sum of two numbers. The operation on sum function takes three arguments, first number, second number, and the operation that is to be performed on their sum, which is callback. Both divide and half and multiply by 2 functions are used as a callback functions in this code. These callback functions will be executed only after the function operation on sum is executed. So we are calling this function with 3 and also divided by half function. So it will call the function operations on sum and it perform the addition operation, and then it will call the operation of sum, which means it internally calls the divide by half function. So 3 plus 3, which is 6. So while dividing by half, it means 6 divided by 2, which gives 3 as an output. Therefore, callback function is a function that will be executed after another function gets executed. So these are the callback functions in JavaScript. What is the use of constructor function in JavaScript? Constructor functions are used to create objects in JavaScript. If you want to create multiple objects having similar properties and methods, constructor functions are used. Name of the constructor function should always be written in Pascal notation. every word should start with a capital letter. If you see the code here, we have created a constructor function person with the properties name, age and gender. Whenever we want to create a new object of the type person, we need to create it by using a new keyword. Here I am creating the first person with using a new keyword. New person, I have given a name, age and gender. This will create a new object of the type person. Constructor functions allows us to group similar objects. What are arrow functions? Arrow functions were introduced in ES6 version of JavaScript. They provide us with a new and shorter syntax of declaring the functions. Arrow functions can only be used as a function expression. Let's compare the normal function declaration and the arrow function declaration. For a normal function which takes two parameters and return the addition of those two parameters. We are assigning this with a variable add. This is a traditional function expression. Now the same function I am writing using arrow functions. So for that I am writing where arrow add is equal to, which takes the function two parameters, which is a comma b, and with the arrow function plus a plus b. So when I call this arrow add with these two parameters a comma b, it will return a plus b. Arrow functions are declared without the function keyword. If there is only one returning expression, then we don't need to use the return keyword. Also for functions having just one line of code, curly braces can be omitted. If the function takes only one argument, then the parentheses around the parameter can be omitted. The biggest difference between the traditional function expression and the arrow function is the handling of the this keyword. By general definition, this keyword always refers to the object that is calling the function. As you can see the code here, we are using object.value of this returns object 1, since this keyword refers to the object calling that function. In arrow functions, there is no binding of this keyword. This keyword inside the arrow function does not refer to the object calling it. It rather inherits its values from the parent scope, which is the window object. So for this, object2.value of this function returns this window object. What is the use of promises in JavaScript? Promises are used to handle asynchronous operations in JavaScript. Before promises, callbacks are used to handle the asynchronous operations. But due to limited functionality of callback, using multiple callbacks to handle asynchronous code can lead to unmanageable code. Promise object has 4 states: pending, fulfill, rejected and settle. Pending. This is the initial state of promise. This state represents that the promise has neither been fulfilled nor been rejected. It is in pending state. Fulfilled. This state represents that the promise has been fulfilled. That means the async operation is completed. Rejected. This state represents that the promise has been rejected for some reason. This means that the async operation has been failed. Settled. This state represents that the promise has either been rejected or fulfilled. A promise is created using the promise constructor, which takes in a callback function with two parameters: resolve and reject. This resolve is a function that will be called when the async operation has been successfully completed. Reject is a function that will be called when the async operation fails or if some error occurs. Promises are used to handle asynchronous operations like server requests. Now let's understand this promise with an example. So for ease of understanding, I am creating a function which calculates the sum of three numbers. So I have written a function sum of 3 elements which takes 3 elements. If the elements are less than 3, then addition operation will be performed in a promise. So we are calculating the sum of 3 elements. If the length of the elements in the array is more than 3, the promise is rejected. Else the promise is resolved and sum is returned. We can consume any promise by attaching then and catch methods to the consumer. Then method is used to access the result when the promise is fulfilled. Catch method is used to access the result or error when the promise is rejected. So we are consuming the promise here. I am calling the function sum of 3 elements with the numbers 4, 5 and 6. Once it is successfully executed, then the result will get in dot then result. So I am printing this result in the console. Otherwise, if there is any error, it will come to the catch block to see the error. If the promise is fulfilled, so then method get executed. If the promise is failed, then the catch method get executed. What is the rest parameter and spread operator? Both rest parameter and spread operator were introduced in the ES6 version of JavaScript. Let's understand these with an examples. Rest parameter. It provides an improved way of handling parameters of a function. Using the rest parameter syntax, we can create functions that take the variable number of arguments. Any number of arguments will be converted into an array using a rest parameter. It also helps in extracting all or some parts of arguments. Rest parameter can be used by applying 3 dots before the parameter. If you see the example here, I am writing a function with addition of all arguments. I created a rest parameter args here. You can pass n number of arguments to this arg parameter. So internally, I will take this arg parameter and calculate the addition of all the arguments. Here I have taken the arguments. Using a while loop, I am adding all the arguments to a common variable, that is sum of args, and I am returning the sum of the arguments. So if you see here, addition of all arguments 1, 3, 4 returns 8 and addition of all arguments 6, 5, 7, 99 returns 117. Rest parameter should always be used as the last parameter of a function. Spread operator. Although the syntax of spread operator is exactly the same of rest parameter, spread operator is used to spread an array and object literals. We also use the spread operators where one or more arguments are expected in function call. If you see the example here, I am declaring the array 1 which has 4 elements inside it. Now I am cloning the other array, that is cloned array. Here I am giving array 1 with 3 dots before. This is a spread operator. So when I try to console.log this cloned array, it gives the output of the cloned array 1. We'll understand the other example. I have created an object 1 that is x hello and y bye, and also object 2 z s and a no. You can merge these two objects using a spread operator. Now the merged object with spread operator object 1 and object 2. So if you see the output here in console, it merges these two objects and it gives the final merged object. The main differences between rest parameter and spread operator is that rest parameter is used to take the variable number of arguments and turns into an array, while the spread operator takes an array or an object and spreads it. Rest operator is used in function declaration, whereas spread operator is used in function calls. What is a temporal dead zone? Temporal dead zone is a behavior that occurs with variables declared using let and const keywords. It is a behavior when we try to access a variable before it is initialized. For example, In global, if you see x equal to 23 and later I have declared the x with using let keyword. So now here it gives the reference error. If you see in a local scope like a function, inside a function I have declared the variable after it is initialized. So here if you see message equal to hello. Later I have declared this message using a let keyword. Then it throws a reference error. So both in global scope and a functional scope, we are trying to access variables which have not been declared. Yet. This is called the temporal dead zone. If you like this video, please share with your friends and don't forget to subscribe our channel, Throw Light.